TFNN.
Okay, folks, this is Larry Pesavento setting in for the master himself. I believe he'll be back on Monday, but we're going to try to entertain you here for the next hour. We're going to start out here by looking at the bond chart. You know, these bonds, whether they're treasuries or treasury notes or corporates or whatever, they much larger market than we have in stock. So this is a market that is huge. And as we've been talking about for quite a while, when we hit that 157 level in the bonds, we've really come off quite a bit. We've come off 6 handles in a matter of 10 days. You can see that we are setting right at the 78% retracement there in the bonds. It's a beautiful ABCD structure on the upside, as you can see. The key here, I believe, that we've talked about earlier in the show when I did my morning show, is that we do have this full moon coming in here on Sunday. We had Norm Winsky on Thursday, and he talked about the importance of that date. And also Bill Meridian from Cycles Research was also talking about the date. Now, it could be a bottom in the stock market. It could be a top. We don't know, because the markets are in total disarray. You've got the NASDAQ looking totally different than the New York Stock Exchange Index, and the Dow looks different than all of them. So it's a real quagmire as how you want to look at it. But we do have a Bradley date coming in on Monday, and since the market is up strong today, I'm assuming that that's going to be a high. But again, the low could have came in a day early today, and we could be looking at an up move, into August the 16th. We'll know more next week, because if the market gives back what it's done today, then your answer is in. We're going down until August the 14th, but that's still neither here nor there. Now, I did want to go through a few charts here of some major stocks that people have an interest in, that dropped me an email to ask to take a look at it. The first one we're going to look at, of course, is the great retailer, Amazon. As you can see, we had a lot of patterns up here in this 995 area. We got up to a little over 4 digits, and then we backed off to 953, and held relatively well. It's still positive. We're up about $10 today. So this stock is still bullish until it takes out the 924 level. If it did that, then the whole game will have changed. But right now, that doesn't look like it's in the cards. Just from looking at it from a technical standpoint. And remember, folks, those of you that haven't heard me before or don't listen into my show, that's early in the morning, all this is technical analysis. I don't know diddly squat about the fundamentals. I don't want to know the fundamentals. All I need to do is to look at the chart, and that tells me what I really need to know. Because if there's more buyers, prices are going to go up. And if there's more sellers, prices are going to go down. Okay, let's take a look at the stock of Mr. Musk, Elon Musk's stock, Tesla Motors, and we'll take a quick look at it here. As you can see, we had a tremendous run since February of last year. We went from 141. We hit 385, I believe 385, 386, and then we've had a pretty substantial correction of about 20% here in a matter of a very, very short order. We've left 2 breakaway gaps to the downside, as you can see. But if you look at the pattern structure in Tesla, look at the beautiful ABCD patterns on the way up ever since election. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. It just went right up to that $380 per share level, and look what it's done. So sometimes the patterns work, sometimes they don't. But right now, we have a couple of gaps here in Tesla on the downside. We still have a few on the upside, but we will want to be watching, what it does, because it's now a weaker than market stock. Something has happened with Tesla, folks. I don't know what it is, but some major selling come in. I don't know where it came from, who did it, but someone was willing to pop it pretty hard. And not only that, they sold it all the way down. Now, that's not a good sign. Look at Amazon, totally different. Amazon would get support every $30 or $40. That did not happen with Tesla. That tells you that the market is extremely weak, and that's another one that you want to be watching. What I would do if you traded Tesla, and believe me, I don't, I would watch for a 38.2% retracement back to see if it gets any higher than that, because if that's all it'll do, you're going to be looking at Tesla trading at around 250 without any trouble at all. And the reason why I say that is the way that it broke away from that level of 387 and a 25%, or excuse me, a 50% drop in that stock. And that could easily happen because this is definitely a high flyer. You could easily get that stock down to 250 without even, or lower, without even, batting an eye. So those are a couple of them that we're watching relatively closely, and we want to do a few more here as we go through today. Now we want to look at Mr. Zuckerberg's company, Facebook, and you'll see here this has been a stronger than market stock. We've had higher bottoms, higher tops, still holding its own. We did have an ABCD at the high back on June 19th, which we believe was the high in the market for at least for the foreseeable future into August 14th, but we'll have to wait and see. But you'll notice that the Facebook made a beautiful ABCD pattern up here at this 156, gave back a very, very small amount, 5% over a 6 or 7 day period, much like it did during the first 2 weeks in May, and it went back right up again. There's nothing bearish about these stocks with the exception of Tesla, folks. They still look relatively strong, but that can change very, very quickly. It doesn't take long for these to change with the breakaway gaps and stuff that we see. Now we want to take a look at we already did Amazon. Let's get that out of the way here. And now we'll take a look here, I believe, at Netflix. By the way, folks, if you folks like the theory of the pyramids, on Netflix there's a series, four segments, and it's called The Pyramid Code. And I've already seen them twice. Fabulous stuff. I mean, it's just all about astrology, and it's really interesting. And, it's very, very interesting. Anyway, it's called The Pyramid Code, and it's on Netflix. And we're going to take a quick look here at Netflix. Netflix looks a lot different here because you notice here yesterday we had made a perfect 78%. Oh, we got to pay a few bills. Larry Pesavento setting in for Tom O'Brien. Give me a call, 877-927-6644.